when we collaborated in 2017, you know that there were a number of fears amongst all the stakeholders, including the central bankers, that whether we would be able to do that. But we had that vision and that commitment and that faith in the digitization effort. We did that despite all the odds. And today, more than 75% of FBR receipts are being collected through that digital platform. And I have no doubt that in very near future, it will be close to 100%, because there are certain procedural issues that needs to be addressed for the remaining ones, and they will be there. We don't understand probably that the kind of revolution that we have been able to undertake with this only one digitization. There have been there are about more than 110 offices across the country. They were engaged in what they were engaged in. They were engaged in manual processing of all tax receipts. There used to be only the State Bank's about 16 offices and 200 plus branches of National Bank that were collecting the taxes manually in a traditional system. And those collections have to be scrolled on daily basis, and a scroll has to be sent to that treasury office, and that treasury office will have to key in all the scrolls in the system. And then there were huge lags. There were reconciliation issues for months. With that only one effort, all this mechanism has been eliminated. And now, just at one stage, the taxpayer is creating his or her PSID, and with that PSID, they are able to make their payments. These payments are made instantly. Their account is debited based on the one link mechanism, and then that amount is credited in the government treasury 3 times a day through that clearing mechanism. And then the books of account of the government are updated on the same day. So it's a huge revolution that, let me say, that we have been able to do that. And how it was happened? We did nothing, let me say this. We just did one thing, that we created an interface between different institutions. FBR had the data available with it. The banks had the data available with it. The central bank had the data available, and the automation. Everybody had that automation. But they were not talking to each other. They were processing the data in isolation, and that was requiring huge sort of processing time and effort. So what we did, using my friend OneLink's platform, we linked them all together. And with that linkage, they started talking to each other, and this whole process was created. So Umar, let me say this, that you are one of the major contributor in that whole process, and we are really thankful to you. As far as today's event is concerned, the very theme, cashless supply chain, it gives me a lot of confidence. As it is, and it is and it will, inshallah, enabling me and my team to achieve at least 2-3 strategic goals that we are pursuing. One goal that we are pursuing, and that was discussed in the morning session as well, that we are trying to replace as much as possible the cash economy with the digital economy. We are trying to reduce the currency in circulation in our economy. Still, we see that about 8.7 to 9 trillion rupees of currency in circulation, which is one of the highest in the world. And that huge currency in circulation that not only creates difficulties for us with respect to implementation of our monetary stance, because whatever monetary policy stance he undertakes, the people having that cash in hand, they're not concerned with that. If you're taking the interest rate to 25%, they're saying, okay, I will be doing, I'm not affected, I'm okay while using the cash. Similarly, this huge currency in circulation that is creating difficulties and challenges not only for us, for FBR, and for all our economy, the huge documentation issue. So it's a strategic goal that we must work together to reduce the currency in circulation. And this cashless supply chain, which is one of the largest users of the cash, if you do that analysis, you would find that one of the largest usage of cash is in this supply chain. And with these initiatives, if we are able to digitize, say, 20 to 30% even in next two to 3 years, that will make a huge impact on the currency in circulation. And let me say this, I am really appreciative of my colleague Suhail. He has done wonders with respect to the digitization efforts. And he says one thing that I really like, that if you want to minimize the use of cash, let's make it mandatory for the manufacturers, for the wholesalers, that they will only be accepting consideration from their retailers, from their distributors, only in the digital form. Because when the retailer knows that the payment is to be made digitally, the retailer will not be interested in handling the cash, because ultimately the payment has to be made digitally. So in that way, I'm really optimistic that this approach of top-down, that we convinced, and again, let me thank Umar for doing this wonderful job, that we are taking these large manufacturers and large distributors to be onboarded on platforms like Haball, so that they can require their distributors and their retailers to digitize, to be part of that cashless supply chain. So I'm really optimistic and hopeful that this will help. I was really impressed by the numbers today shared by Amir in his keynote address with respect to 300,000 small shops and stores with which the Unilever is engaged and interacting. If we can bring these 300,000 Unilever's small stores, that is going to make a huge impact. And similarly, Coca-Cola and Pepsi and agro and fertilizer, and there are a number of avenues that are available. So that gives me, let me say, although we have discussed a number of challenges and some pessimism was also reflected in some of the panel discussions, but I am extremely optimistic that with these initiatives, we will be able to win our fight, our war, our efforts against cash. Although my previous role was that I was printing cash, but still, that's an intermediary role, let me say this. Ultimately, well, let me share you one good joke, that when one of our machine suppliers in this security branding, And the ink supplier, he came to me and I said in my first introduction that I'm the biggest supporter of digitization. He asked me, oh, please, calm down. You need to subside your desires and your wishes with respect to this digitization. But digitization is our passion. Digitization is the way forward. So this one objective with respect to minimizing the cash in the economy, I am pretty sure that initiatives like this will really help us in achieving this. The second very important objective is extending financial services to the SMEs. Still, we are just serving 5.5%, even less than 5% of the SMEs. So a huge chunk of 90 to 95% of the SMEs are totally out of the banking system. So this platform is again giving me the hope that yes, we can bring a larger number of SMEs in the fold of financial services. There are challenges, but as my colleague Suhail said, that let's allow the FBR to undertake its policy interventions with respect to the expansion of the tax base, and we are very hopeful that ultimately the tax base will be increased and people will realize it needs some concerted effort both on the part of FBR and on the part of government and the stakeholders to have communication to all the stakeholders कि अब ऐसे नहीं चलेगा क्योंकि we have seen that with this tax base we don't have sufficient resources available to run the affairs of the government and to create facilities for the people. But we should not be bogged down कि जी इतने टैक्स के इश्यूज हैं और इतने challenges हैं तो ये नहीं होगा the chicken egg नहीं. My way of thinking is that let's keep on doing our role with respect to creating that environment which creates value for these retailers and for these distributors to be part of the digital chain. I would echo with my colleague, probably Fareed from Coca-Cola. He was saying that the theme that he was saying that let's not be afraid of that these challenges of being taxed, etc., would be hurting. There are challenges, but we should keep on creating that value for the retailers so that they should feel that pull that it is something which is benefiting them. And I'm extremely hopeful with respect to Islamic finance as well, because with the availability of data, that will give that comfort to the banks and particularly to the Islamic banks. My colleagues from Mizan Bank are sitting here. That's data that would be available in say next 2 to 3 years if we are able to tap, and we will be able to tap, inshallah, larger number of the retailers. So then that will give comfort to the conventional banks and even more to the Islamic banks that they can even develop their Islamic products which are really risk and reward sharing based products. So I'm pretty optimistic that things will improve, inshallah, and we will continue to support all the efforts like the one Haball has been doing. It's a great contribution that Haball is making. In my last concluding remarks, let me say that State Central Bank has full commitment and conviction with respect to its digitization efforts. We believe that that is the way forward with respect to as far as the banking system is concerned and as far as the overall economy is concerned. And we have taken a number of initiatives I need not to repeat those initiatives. We will continue to take those initiatives and have that push with respect to the digitization of economy. And RAST has provided that platform, has provided that pivot to build that infrastructure of digital ecosystem.